Hey folks, here's a question we get sometimes. Is there a personal injury settlement calculator in South Carolina? No. And here's why. You're a person, not a number. And every person is unique. So is every case. And let me tell you a little secret. You know who really wants you to think there's a settlement calculator? The insurance company. That's why adjusters tell people things like rear end crashes are only worth 1.5 times your medical bills. You just can't trust that. It's coming from an insurance company employee who's graded on how well he cheats innocent victims out of money. The fact of the matter is, almost every case is going to involve various factors that change based on the people and the situations involved in the case. And almost every one of those factors requires legal knowledge. You need to know the law to know what evidence to present. And then you've got to have the knowledge to present the evidence the right way to build a solid case. You're not going to find a button on a calculator for that. Let me just touch on some of those factors. First, there's liability or fault. Before you can get a settlement, you've got to prove somebody did something legally wrong to cause your injury. And in some cases, it may be partly your fault, but that doesn't mean you can't get a settlement. However, you do have to take your own fault into consideration. That's a real challenge for the untrained. And then the question becomes, does the level of the other person's fault rise to justify punitive damages? To figure that out, you got to know the law of punitive damages in South Carolina. And even if your case qualifies for punitive damages, you've got to have the legal experience to know what your chances are of getting them. And even then, you got to know the legal factors that determine how much, which are set by law in South Carolina. And then there's pain and suffering. Every injury affects different people in dramatically different ways. Think about it. A broken arm to a banker is one thing, but it's quite another to a factory worker. This is where an experienced personal injury lawyer can truly shine in telling the story of your case in how it affected your ability to work and live based on who you are as a person. There is no calculator button for loss of enjoyment of life, physical disability, mental disability if you sustain a brain injury, anguish, embarrassment, anxiety, or other type of psychological harm, or permanent injury. Folks, I know you're not the suing type, and I know you probably don't want to call a lawyer. But when you've been hurt because someone's been careless, it just shouldn't be you who bears all the costs and the consequences. That's what the insurance company wants. Don't let that happen. I've helped people like you for over 2 decades with South Carolina accident cases from right here in my office in Spartanburg. Call me. I'll answer your questions in a free, no-pressure strategy session we work hard to make easy on you. If you don't need a lawyer, I'll tell you, and I'll give you some guidance to help you out. If you do need a lawyer, I'll tell you why, and then I'll show you how we can work together as a team to get you a fair settlement. Thank you for thinking about this with me, and I hope I see you soon.